Any listeners with a delicate disposition around bodily functions and fluids may find this episode not for them.
So I've got this concoction. It's sparkling lime seltzer, and it's raspberry lemonade. And so it's this like
it looks sparkling... like the hot jam lava from the episode.
Yeah.
Don't even you. Ren, did Sara tell you that I was texting her while I was watching this thing?
Oh yes, I heard all about it.
This fucking episode.
That lava looked delicious.
Oh my god! I was like, did this motherfucker just reach in and grab a handful of lava and throw it at Dargo? And Dargo went, "Oh!" instead of
room
his
temperature
leg,
lava.
Instead of his leg instantly vaporizing. Oh my god! We'll get into it.
I don't think the creators of this episode know how lava work.
I don't think the creators of this episode know how a few things work. But you know what they nailed? They nailed genetic material. They absolutely nailed how genetic material works.
Really? Is that you get that much in vomit?
I do get that much in vomit.
Okay.
My car works the same way that Dargo's spaceship does.
You're not. See, Dargo doesn't puke up food. He pukes up parts of his own body.
Yeah, the emesis is so intense.
Well, this is a good start for this episode. Hi, friends.
Howdy, y'all.
Salutations.
And welcome to Muppet Sex and Trauma. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Costume Codex videos on YouTube.
I'm Josh Gosdin, and I'm psychically projecting an illusion of myself doing a striptease.
And with us today is Ren.
Hello.
Is that Ren the Barbarian, the YouTuber?
It is. It is Ren the Barbarian, the YouTuber.
Can Josh stop laughing long enough to answer?
No.
Yes, I am Ren the Barbarian, the YouTuber.
You both nodded your head with the exact same facial expression and the exact same tempo. It was fantastic.
We've got a bit of the giggles today. We've arrived at the hot jam farting vomiting.
Oh my god.
It's it's not a good episode, but it is kind of fun at some points.
I honest to God did not remember this episode, so I was trying to watch it and find the gravitas, and by the end of it I was like, that was not good.
There's no gravitas at all.
There is a pattern with Farscape seasons that we get a nice strong opening season episode, then we get a couple we don't know what we're doing.
Wackadoo.
It's we have to get all our filler episodes out of the way really quickly.
I will say I got spoiled by season 3 because they seem to break that pattern, but that's only because they had to kill Zahn over the course of 6 episodes.
Yeah. It really, in season 3, it's just that Sons and Lovers one that's just kind of meh. And then, that's what, and then here we are in season 4, and we're back to the caliber of the rock jumping
and vomiting, and so much vomiting, and
that the drama of the episode is being held together by Rigel's bowels.
Okay. Lava's a Many Splendored Thing was written by Michael Miller and directed by Michael Patterson, both of them new to Farscape. Crichton, Dargo, Chiana, Sikozu, Rigel, and Granny are all squeezed into Dargo's ship Lola. They're sniping and miserable and, what's worse, hungry. Really, really hungry. And that's when Granny has a terrible idea. Cut to them pulling over to the nearest planet to throw up what Granny fed them. Also, Rigel really needs a convenient bush or some. The planet they've landed on is red, rocky, and covered in remarkably low-temperature lava. And also treasure. Suspiciously unguarded treasure. That's when Rigel gets a very stupid idea. Turns out suspiciously unguarded treasure is booby-trapped. And snatching treasure, Rigel gets his lower half encased in amber. a situation made particularly miserable by his, as yet unrelieved tummy. Also, the caves he, Dargo, and Granny are in have been sealed off from the surface and the girls. But they aren't alone. A couple of dim-witted henchmen are here to move the treasure. They're not too pleased to find treasure-snatching, amber-encased Rigel and send him off to their boss, Raquel. Dargo and John are hiding with Granny when she deciphers the marking on the treasure. It belongs to Tarkin freedom fighters, she says. They're good people. And that's when Granny has not a very good idea and tries to talk to them. Naturally, gunfire ensues, and that's how Dargo and John discover the henchmen have body armor. Up on the surface, Gianna and Jewel are trying to figure out how to break into the caves to free the others. But there's only one way to do that, Lola's cannon. And there's a bit of a problem. Lola only responds to Dargo's DNA. That's when the girls come up with a truly disgusting idea. Back in the caves, John, Dargo, and Granny are doing some Abbott and Costello type nonsense and ultimately end up defeating the henchmen and taking their body armor. But they still have to get Rigel back from Raquel the boss, who they now know is not a Tarkin freedom fighter, just here to rob them. More shenanigans, and the boys get captured and threatened with low-temperature lava. On the surface, the girls implement their very disgusting idea, covering their hands in Dargo's vomit, and then mashing buttons till something explodes. They get lucky and blast an opening to the caves. The girls' blast provides a distraction, and the boys are able to break free, but not before Rigel gets fully encased in amber and falls into the low-temperature lava. That's when John has a very stupid idea. Shooting himself repeatedly to trigger the body armor, John is going lava bobbing for Rigel, but he hasn't yet defeated the big boss, so it's time for lava wrestling with Raquel. Fight, 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 and Raquel headbutts a booby trap, getting Amber encased himself. A triumphant John finds and frees Rigel. Everything is sorted as the real Tarkin freedom fighters arrive. And finally, as the crew prepares to leave the planet, they find a waiting message from Pilot with rendezvous coordinates. Our crew are finally headed home.
I'm sorry, you saying Dargo DNA reminds me of the line from Jurassic Park. Bingo! Dino DNA!
I wasn't even thinking of that.
That's fantastic.
I mean, we do have a character who's encased in amber. Maybe they'll extract Rigel's DNA and make Rigelic Park.
And although he is an amphibian, I don't think that's how it works. That he can still
That's
breathe.
not how any of this works.
I mean, I think we could say that about almost anything in this episode. That is not how it works.
That's not how any of this
works. That's definitely not how lava works.
None of that is how.
It's hot jam.
The bit where like John is wading around in this lava pool and like he tests out the body shield at first before he goes in. At least he thought of that. It's like you see it power down and he just like takes Rhinona and just casually shoots himself and it just powers back up. I'm like, no, you are burnt. As soon as that thing dies down, you are crispy John.
Let's lay aside that the writers of this particular episode, like every other television and film writer in the history of the media, forgot about convection. Everybody would have already been dead long before.
Yeah.
So-and-so grabbed the lava in his hand and threw it at Dargo's calf muscle.
Oh. Like they at least could have like established that Luxons are like heat resistant or something.
Or like give me something.
we are most definitely in the realm of ficta physics.
Sure.
So what I'm hearing is that
explain the ficta physics, which doesn't have to be real, but you do have to give us some kind of technobabbly something.
So I'll give it that. I was live rage texting Sara while I was watching this episode. And this is one of the best worst episodes that I've ever seen of a TV show. Like the plot makes perfect sense. The internal logic is completely consistent. The characterization is on point. The structure is sound. It just sucks.
So what I'm hearing, Josh, is that you didn't lava this episode?
I did not lava this episode, Ren. I both love and hate that you beat me to that.
You mean you lava and you hate it?
I'm about to sign off of this Zoom.
This is why I was brought on.
This is the perfect episode to bring you on, Ren. This is absolutely the perfect episode.
Yeah.
But we'll get into my rage here in a second. Ren, what did you think of this episode?
So I honest to God, I was telling Sara, I didn't remember this episode from the first time I watched this show through. And there wasn't that much to remember. The only thing I think was like, okay, so last time I was on, we agreed that the episode we were watching was like a weird combination of Pulp Fiction and Old Yeller. And I thought, watching this one, I was like, this is Die Hard. A little bit. It's a little Die Hard.
It's a little Die Hard. You're right about that.
Yeah. I even wanted John, like when he got like the body shield from the goons, to say, now I have a body shield. Ho, ho, ho. Tell me he wouldn't have.
Yeah, this is an episode that happened, and it was full of writing choices that are really hard to wrap my head around.
Yeah, this is the definition of a filler episode because it moves nothing forward apart from the phone message from Pilot.
Yeah,
like in the final 30 seconds of the episode, an enormous arc moment occurs.
Yeah, it's screaming, we had a certain amount of episodes to fill.
Like this is literally, we took a pit stop and things went wrong.
No, like they pulled over on their fucking Muppets road trip.
No character development, no nothing.
This is the bathroom break.
We still don't even know Granny's name.
We do. She mentioned it in this episode.
Oh, okay.
Naranti.
Okay.
Naranti Prelaton.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's one thing, I guess.
Why does anybody keep doing what this woman says?
Well, she's old. She must be wise, right?
My literal favorite part is that nobody, in the episode, except for I think Sikozu, glommed onto the fact that the thing that Naranti fed all of them, she excreted from herself into her hands right beforehand.
Was it throw up? Was it like
cud?
Is she like a cow? Like where she has to like digest her food and then spit it back up and redigest? What is it? What is Jilnak?
You know what
I don't think I want to know. Actually, never mind.
She gave him the old Hawk Tui.
It's the
I hate that. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
It's the first time that she's done something that didn't involve inhalants.
Or non-consent.
I will say I did dig
I don't think there was informed consent on that.
No. We're taking it a step at a time.
I will say I did dig her little Uhura from Star Trek V move on the two goons.
Thank you.
I always enjoy a captive audience.
Yeah, me too, Nichelle. Me too.
Yeah, I like that, but also like I hate that it's turned into a gag of like, oh, ugly old woman. It's like, yeah, no, we don't need to be ageist.
Yeah, it's like Nichelle Nichols was no spring chicken when they made Star Trek V, and yet she is still sexy and perceived to be sexy in that movie.
And they did not turn that particular. Am I talking good about Star Trek V? They did not turn that particular moment into an old woman joke.
Yeah, they turned it into these guys are stupid.
Yeah,
well, this episode makes Star Trek V look good.
This episode makes a lot of things look good.
What an amazing contribution to science fiction this episode.
But, to be honest, not unlike Star Trek V, I do kind of enjoy watching it, even as it is a complete and utter clusterfuck.
Once again, yeah, like it was a well done, awful episode.
It's good. It'd be good for a bad Farscape night, which would be a short night because there's not a lot of bad Farscape, but that would be definitely part of it.
Like all of the nonsense decisions are amusingly nonsense.
Yes.
And apart from the laughing at an old woman part. John and Dargo's shenanigans are a lot of fun because it's John and Dargo being, doing shenanigans together.
John and Dargo was the best part of the episode, and especially I was on the floor when they threw Naranti across the lava.
It just, woo!
And then the tongue.
And she,
oh my God.
She woke up and she was like,
she probably liked it.
That was my favorite part of the episode.
Lux and tongue erotic asphyxiation. There's the sex.
Post-emesis.
Yeah. And there's so much vomit humor.
There's so much vomit humor.
Vomit
and so much vomit.
And like the seat, like they were literally going down the row of the piles of vomit that the characters had left behind, and they're like, no, that was mine, actually.
I'm
and
like,
then she
why? Why is Chiana putting it in her mouth?
Like she tasted it.
I did put a warning at the end, tacked on a warning to our last broadcast with if you have issues
warning
with
for emetophobia.
I think you undersold it. That's I can't think of another
if you have vomit issues, skip this one.
All I could think of was, what kind of freak nasty shit was Chiago into if Chiana knows what Dargo's vomit tastes like?
Exactly. Listen, no king shaming.
I'm not king shaming, but actually, yes, I am. I'm king shaming that one. I have limits.
That's the limit. We just reached it. Okay, fair enough.
Speaking of limits,
sorry, we need a safe word.
I don't know how much we can talk about what's going on with Rigel.
So, listen. The whole episode. All the jeopardy surrounding this plot revolves around Rigel needing to shit his pants and being unable to do so. That's this episode's plot.
That's the worst ASMR I ever heard.
Will his bowels rupture?
There was a without getting too gross about it, there used to be like a torture in ancient Greece where it's like they would take you out in a boat, like if you'd been like convicted of some crime, they would take you out of a boat and leave you out there and like kind of like tie you down so you couldn't move and feed you milk and honey, which, hey, that doesn't sound too bad, right? The only thing is milk and honey makes certain substances exit your body. And so you would just be covered in the stuff because you couldn't move. And then it would attract flies, which would eat the substances and then move on to eating you. And they would keep feeding you milk and honey and keep making you excrete those substances until you'd been eaten by flies, essentially. And I was like, the opposite of that is what's happening to Rigel.
How do you know that?
Weirdly enough, I think I watched it in a College Humor video.
What?
The warnings I'm going to have to put on this episode.
Oh my God. There is absolutely no alcohol in the drink that I'm drinking. I just want everybody to know that. And then then the vomit on her hands dried up and she had to go get more. And the worst part is that it worked.
Bingo! Dargo DNA!
What a stupid ship design.
Thank you. And Sikozu said it very well.
My question is, couldn't they have just gotten one of his hairs or something? No, they had to, it's like, oh, we have all this lovely Chekhov's vomit lying around. We should use it.
That is the worst literary plot device I've ever heard of.
It's not the first time this show has done Chekhov's vomit, but last time it was in the romantic episode.
Yeah, by the way, did you bring me onto this episode because I was in the episode with the body swap with like the sentient like jello vomit?
Oh my god, how many times has this show done plot relevant vomit?
I don't know.
No, I've my thinking was there's a pun in the title. Ren loves puns.
Yeah, you wildly undersold this experience, Sara.
Well, how was I supposed to prepare you for this exactly?
No, there was no. You're right about like it. So I'm okay. This
like The Room.
This episode, you're tearing me apart, Ren. Hey,
how do you
Sara.
prepare somebody for The Room?
This was one of the most first season episodes that we've had in a while. Mm-hmm. That's how it felt to me as I was watching it. Like it getting towards the end of it, I was like, this was a first season episode. Like this was very slapstick, gross, alien. Physics don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very first season. And I wasn't prepared for that personally because, again, season 3 was such a cut above, like such a step up. And so when they hard cut from everybody eating Noranti's snot rockets to landing on the planet and like Rigel being like, I've got to go. And everybody like running off and being like, you know, like, I thought that was an opening gag. I didn't think that was the entire plot of this episode.
I would call it a breather episode, but I don't want to breathe while I'm watching this. I wish I would stop breathing while watching this.
It's a bathroom break episode.
No, literally.
It's like when the goat comes out when you're watching the Wicked movie. That's when you know you can go to the bathroom. Like,
oh my god,
I haven't been yet.
I just saw it today.
I love the girl. What's the girl word for bromance? The girlmance between Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo now.
Yeah,
but I haven't watched the film yet, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope there's less vomit.
Yes, and speaking of girl version of bromance,
gals being pals.
There we go.
No, that's something else.
No, they were roommates.
Or is it?
I was thinking about Tiana and Sikozu, and I don't think there's a gal pals arc developing between those two.
Unfortunately, I am really glad that they like put them together because obviously Sikozu is not the same character as Jewel, but like I do think like Sikozu could be like the new challenger for Tiana. So I really loved like in one of her first episodes they put those two, kind of stuck those two together.
Mm-hmm.
When I was writing my notes, I joked that like that Chiana was Reginald Val Johnson and Sikozu was like the taxi driver from Die Hard.
You're really going with the Die Hard thing.
I am.
That's really well. Like the Ren, that's a very good reading.
Yes.
And it speaks well to Chiana's development that in that particular duo, she feels like the mature one.
Mm.
Like she feels like the responsible one. Yeah. Yeah, she feels like the responsible one between those two, and I think that's amazing considering where we started and where we are now.
In most cases like this, Chiana would be like, "Screw this, I'm out of here."
But she's the one who's like, "No, we got to get our boys."
Yeah,
and this crazy old lady who keeps drugging us in different ways.
Oh, Noranti!
Really just like they just can't seem to tell someone to go away. Like whoever turns up just ends up being part of the crew,
which is admirable, but also healthy boundaries are healthy.
Yeah. I continue to find Sikozu annoying but entertaining.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting combination to get I think they didn't quite land that with Jewel, because early on she was irritating in ways that weren't entertaining. And then once you start to like her, and she's developing the sort of gal pally like relationship with Chiana, she then goes off.
Put her on a bus.
Well, how you felt about Jewel, I think, was how I felt about Stark, and once he grew on me, then I was into it, and I was into him. But yeah, no, they've struck a really good balance with Sikozu. She's obnoxious but endearing. Like she's a know-it-all, an insufferable know-it-all, but also it's fun to watch her get humbled.
Yep. And Granny is a poor replacement for Stark. I feel like she's very good as a plot development or plot device gumball machine thing.
Apparently, she's been directly responsible for the last 5 plots. Yeah,
she does just kind of like do shit and that for this plot, but also like, why is she here and why is anybody listening to this woman?
She reminds me of Old Man McGucket from Gravity Falls.
I did like Dargo and John. Dargo being like, "We should burn her,"
and John being like, "We can't do that," and then later being like, "Burning is too good for her."
Yeah,
yeah. The Dargo and John buddy cop stuff is a lot of fun.
Like the way that they stopped and like explained the plan to each other and like talked it out, and the Dargo was like, "Who's Lou Costello?" Like that I loved that whole bit. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the highlight of this vomity diarrhea mess.
I'm glad this is I'm glad that I'm not alone. I'm glad I'm not alone in how I feel about this episode. Because there have been episodes before where I've been like, what the hell? And you've been like, actually, this is a masterpiece. And I've been like, is it?
You don't think that this was some great work of cinema? I'm shocked.
I was legitimately concerned. I was like, this is going to be adored by Farscape fans, from far and wide. And there's probably plenty of defenders out there. But like, it was just like, what in the hell is going on?
This is like Masks from TNG.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody, respond in chat if you actually like this this episode. Yeah. I've never heard of anybody liking it.
Yeah, are there any lava is a many splendored thing apologists out there? If so, sound off.
Apart from, there are aspects that are entertaining. It's very much like a Star Trek 5.
I was legitimately confused about the Tarkins.
Yeah.
Because that they were showing us Mo and Curly.
Mm-hmm.
And Naranti was like, oh, it's the Tarkins. The Tarkins are wonderful people. And the Tarkins are lovely people. And then we get Evil Mouth Guy.
Man. It's like the what are they? The Zindi from Enterprise? And they have like 5 different types of Zindi.
So I thought he was the odd man out. I thought the Tarkins were the dumbasses, and that Rakeel was some random henchman or whatever. And then at the end of the episode, other Rakeels show up, and it's like, oh, those are the Tarkins. But then I was like thinking back to the episode, and I was like, why the fuck did Granny think that they were Tarkins when she hadn't even seen Evil Mouth Guy yet?
So maybe they're not. Maybe it's not a species. Maybe it's like a group, a collective.
That makes sense. I could go with that.
I don't know. I think it's just that it was something about reading the markings on the treasure.
Okay. They were talking.
Like, yeah. How do you know the horror? It's like, if I come across a bunch of Bank of England notes, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is the Bank of England.
Yes.
It was I don't know. I don't know what The mysteries of Granny's mind. Because I think it was pretty obvious that any group made of people like those two idiots are not going to be effective freedom fighters.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. But the Tarkins at the end do say Rakil used to be one of them. So he's a traitor who's now stealing from them.
And now, for some reason, now I'm just thinking of the bit from Shrek where Robin Hood shows up. I steal from the rich and give to the needy. He takes a small percentage, but I'm not greedy. Also, one of the great mysteries of life is, why was Robin Hood in Shrek French?
Why wouldn't he be?
Exactly.
There's I don't think there's like a single character out there who could be more English than Robin Hood.
But English at the time, the nobles spoke French.
I guess.
There you go. It's grounded in history. John does a really great job. Ben Browder does a really great job.
As always.
Despite this episode.
Of expositing to us, the audience, why he will be able to get hip deep in a small puddle of lava that he should have already died from.
To be fair, the plan isn't that bad. Use the body shield to protect him from the lava.
And he explains kinetic energy in a way that I haven't felt so understanding of since high school physics.
Yeah.
But I'm left wondering, did Rakil, good God Almighty, had he also already cracked that when he scooped lava with his hand and threw it at Dargo's leg, and Dargo's leg didn't vaporize on contact?
I don't think he's even wearing body armor when he comes out of the lava to begin with. I think the implication is that these are just lava-proof people.
I mean, he's kind of a bug, so maybe he has an exoskeleton. But
that'll still die.
I know. I'm trying my best, Josh. This episode doesn't make sense. It's like that line from the Kid with Autism 9/11 movie. It's like you can't make sense of it because it doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna try though. That's what we do on this podcast. We try.
We've got the mix of the well-explained kinetic energy understanding mixed with the lava is hot jab.
And he it's at one point somebody going down to the well dips a bucket into the lava and pulls it out.
Yes, they have a wooden bucket of lava
that he's just carrying around.
I could understand if they explained it's cool lava or something, but clearly it's not because John had to use his body armor to get in it.
It's alien lava.
You said you tried to pull that shit on me while I was texting you.
Well, text doesn't have tonal indicators because no, it's silly. This episode does not understand lava, but when does science fiction ever understand lava?
No, it doesn't understand lava, but it understands how heat affects sperm count somehow.
I can't believe they got that line in the episode. Once again, hilarious and absurd.
You don't want to go lava bobbing?
I don't want to go lava bob. How did and he was like
mud wrestling?
Somebody was like, how is Rigel still alive? He doesn't have any oxygen, which is a very reasonable scientific thing for the episode to do. And then they said, don't worry, he's an amphibian. Not don't worry, he's encased in this insulating shoe wax. It's don't worry, he's an amphibian. But that also means that Rigel was trapped inside of an amber capsule, having to hold his breath, or I guess just breathe like amphibians do when there's no oxygen, and also trying not to shit his pants.
Listen, Josh, never let scientific logic get in the way of a good story. Or in this case, a not good story.
Now, I will point out one flaw in your supposition.
Please.
Rigel wears robes. I just wanted to see what happened to your face. This is when you have to be watching the video feed. There's no way to describe it.
Now Josh looks like the one who's trying not to shit his pants.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Come over on YouTube to watch me totally unravel at this episode in a way that I haven't. There was one episode, and I still can't remember this one episode. There's one episode where you, me, and Jack all disagreed, but for different reasons. And we spent the entire episode like having this like 3-way battle royale. I don't remember that one, but this feels like that.
Yeah, except we are all just kind of like, what does God need with hot with hot
lava jam?
With room temperature lava. And when Naranti just fucking fell asleep. Because at that point, like, I imagine, like, if she hadn't fallen asleep at that moment, the plot could have resolved itself. And so the writer was like, I need this plot not to resolve itself, so I'm going to put her to sleep.
with narcolepsy that has never been mentioned before.
In a completely unprecedented way. And both John and Dargo are having my reaction where they're just like, the fuck?
She feeds people her cud. She has narcolepsy. This character has everything.
She is the plot.
She is just absolutely a plot device gumball machine.
Whoever they cast as psychic projected dancing Naranti did a fantastic job.
Yes.
Like, very, very, very professional belly dancer.
Yes.
And those two actors who were just like, jaws on the floor. Like, that was also a good moment of physical comedy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find
dated,
things
but you know,
to say about this episode.
Well, for good things about this episode, how about Harvey in the hazmat suit?
Yeah.
One character who understands the danger of lava.
Like, showed up to point out all the ways that this wouldn't work, and John goes, "Go away, you're bothering me."
Don't bring logic into this.
Like, he's wearing a hazmat suit because they're fucking underground and they should have been dead already.
Harvey is just all of us in this episode going,
It really is.
What the fuck?
Harvey showing up in that moment reminds me of that moment from like every like Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon where like or like the coyote like backs up off of a cliff or something, and then the Roadrunner hands him like a "look out below" sign, and then like he looks out, he realizes he's standing on air, he looks back up at the camera, and then he falls to his death.
That is exactly how this episode felt.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have much insightful things to say.
What even, like...
What do you say? What can you say about this? We might as well start singing "Row, row, row your boat."
When fucking Ravioli, what was his name?
Raquel,
thank you. When Raquel told that first dumbass henchman, he was like, "Look around," and the henchman, speaking very reasonably, was like, "I'm in a fucking cave. Like, I can't describe where I am to you." And then he looks over and he's like, "Oh wait, in no other establishing shot was this indicated, but over here, there's purple writing on the wall." And he goes, "Purple." Like, evil. He says it right into the camera, and it's super evil. And he says, "Purple."
And for some reason, when you shoot it, it explodes on impact.
And he tells this guy to fucking murder himself.
It's the planet of lava and plot conveniences.
Well, we needed to establish how the body armor works.
No, we didn't. Nothing about that was explained at all. We don't know what the writing said. We don't know who wrote it. We don't know why shooting it caused it to explode and then the lava to rise that Dargo had to yeet Naranti across.
Come to the lava planet. We'll have a few laughs.
Nothing makes sense at all in this episode. And then the climax, the emotional climax of this episode, where the point where everything comes together, the point where, if it hadn't been for you meddling kids and they finally make peace with the Tarkans, and the Tarkans are like, we'd be very glad to let you know, is Rigel absolutely evacuating every last ounce of his bowels in front of 3 of his closest friends and 2 complete strangers.
It's like that one that one meme that's like looks like a Keebler Elf package, and it says something like Ben Shapiro absolutely destroys his pajamas with pee-pee and poo-poo.
Listen, I thanks to as many of you listeners know, I've recently finished cancer treatment, and things are going really great for me, by the way. My doctors tell me that there is no further evidence of the disease in my body. I'm very happy with that. One of the most fun side effects of chemo was incontinence. And it is absolutely it is always worse than you think it's going to be. It is absolutely impossible to do it the way that Rigel did it and then just move on with his life. Like, it is always worse than you think it's going to be. And so I need you, listeners, I need you to understand.
I have IBS. I do not talk about these. Yeah.
You're bisexual and you have IBS? How original.
Sara checks all the tropes.
I'm saying that because I'm bisexual and I also have IBS.
Listeners, viewers, we have now all told you that we've shat ourselves.
I didn't say that.
I'm inferring it for you. And that's this episode. You didn't think you were going to experience that. Just like we didn't think we were going to experience multiple piles of vomit in a single tracking shot. So you are now on our level. And sorry, you can edit this whole bit out if you want to.
I have no idea how I'm going to edit this episode. This is just complete chaos. Yeah.
Row your boat gently down the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, Sara, bring us home. Do some moderating, do some hosting it. Good luck.
All right. In an attempt to do the hosty thing, did anyone recognize the voice of Raquel?
He sounded really familiar. I couldn't place him though.
James Earl Jones. I'm kidding now.
He's been on the show before.
Oh, it's
and we also didn't see his face then.
Oh, it's the one that Bren Browder married.
No. No, we have the recurring actor that is not Francesca Buller. No, he also played Bakesh.
Which one was Bakesh?
With the gauntlet and the visor.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
That's why the voice is familiar, because he's been on a few times, but we basically just see the lower half of his face.
He's got a great mouth. Which is a strange statement.
Not that strange.
Not the strangest of today, but
yeah, of this episode alone.
Well,
good for him. Good hosting just then, Sara. That was great.
Yes. Do we need any other backstage stuff?
She's always here to get us back on track.
I don't think there's much else back behind the scenes stuff that's interesting. Yeah, the writer and director team have never done Farscape before. They will never do Farscape again.
I wonder why.
They're sort of they both have sort of what do you expect from like jobbing writers and actors or writers and directors in Australia? Lots of soaps, lots of various Australian shows.
I'm surprised this one wasn't written by the guy from Machine Gun Fellatio again.
It would have been good if it was written by Matt Ford.
True.
Somehow he would have taken these bits and made something good out of it. I don't know how.
But like this was like they also nailed the vibe of Farscape. Like this was super Farscapey. This was ridiculous. There was some quote unquote science fiction, like, and there was amazing humor. Like honestly, the scenes between John and Dargo had me rolling on the floor. Naranti was hilarious.
It's just usually Farscape also there's usually something more.
There was nothing more in this episode.
Like, the quintessential Farscape is crackers don't matter, where we are rolling on the floor laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Harvey.
And Harvey is introduced. And there are some deeper stuff and some darker stuff. And like some shockingly dark stuff in with the humor. And there's some real richness there too. And that was really written as a filler bottle episode. This is got no roots.
No.
In this episode, there just wasn't a lot to love.
You're done.
On that note, let's do some comments on previous episodes from our listeners. Crichton Kicks from Genatune. Had to order season 4 and wait for it to arrive to rewatch before I watched this. Been waiting so long for Josh to meet 1812.
I did, and I appreciated 1812's little cameo in this episode. And like, Sikoza turns around and is like, "You're no help," and then that's it. But yes, 1812 is adorable so far.
Also on 1812, brilliant as always, says Tom Kilgell on a bunch of numbers. When John painted A plus C equals B on the wall, Aaron plus Crichton equal baby. Love season 4 and looking forward to you watching your shows about it.
Oh.
Hopefully we entertain you.
Hopefully we entertain you.
Yes. From our wrap up, Jenny Toon is glad I've seen The Expanse now. Maybe too soon to say, but how does it rank alongside your favorite sci-fi shows? It's one of the best, definitely. Yeah. I've now been reading listening to audiobooks of the series, and it's really good. And I find it really interesting the changes they've made between the books and the show. And yeah, Amos is one of my all-time favorite characters, and Naomi is up there too. I'm not so hot on goddamn, his name just escapes my mind. Holden. Holden. Yeah. He's very standard sort of hero fare.
Yes, he is very much like Superman in that universe. Clark Kent in terms of persona.
Like him a little better in the books than the show.
Don't you dare talk crap about Superman. That's my boy.
I would never talk crap about Superman. I love Superman. No, The Expanse rapidly rocketed to the top of my top 5 that are not Star Trek, and it's difficult to put. Like Star Trek is such an emotional place in my heart that it's difficult to say, like, is it my favorite? Is something better than it? Like, kind of a thing. It's always like, I love Star Trek, and here are my favorite sci-fi shows. Kind of it. That's kind of how I approach it.
It's in a class all its own.
Very much so, yeah. But like, The Expanse is phenomenal. So the authors of the book series were heavily involved in the development and running of this TV series, and in fact wrote several episodes. And so they got to treat the TV show like a second draft of their novels. And I've read interviews from them that basically says, like, yeah, they prefer the show too. Like, they prefer the show to their own books.
So it's like the anti-Game of Thrones.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of tightening of narrative stuff, but the novels, I think, have their own charms as well.
Oh, same. Yeah, totally agree.
I can't rank them because my brain doesn't really work in the ranking stuff. There's just like, there's things I love. They joined the constellation of things I love.
I like that constellation of things I love. I like that phrase. It's a great phrase.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched The Expanse yet, Sara and I both recommend it.
Yeah, and if you, unlike this episode, if you want a show that actually has some understanding of science,
super hard sci-fi,
and goes to the effort of trying to make the makey-uppy stuff have its own rules. That's kind of the ante of this episode. Except it is also funny.
Somewhere on the spectrum of like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Doctor Who, in terms of hard to soft sci-fi, The Expanse is really far over on the hard side.
Yeah.
I need to watch The Expanse. My ex tried to get me into it, but like now I have negative connotations associated with it. So
listen, I'm like that with Lord of the Rings, but I'm told The Lord of the Rings is a really entertaining book series and franchise.
Yeah, it's mostly music I associate with my ex. Well, one of them did get me into Doctor Who, and that doesn't have any negative connotations. It's kind of like, no, that's the good thing I took from it. Also, The Wicker Man. The good
Which one?
The good one.
The not Nicolas Cage one.
Yeah. Although I hear the Nicolas Cage one is very entertaining.
That's
much like this episode.
Right. We've also got a comment here from last episode from Chick Flick Guru. Well, we're here. As one writer called it, the mind control boob sweat. As much as I love this show, dear God, if I could erase one thing, it would be this whole thing. The Farscape theme chanting, on the other hand, I have always loved. Yes, the music from the last episode is particularly fine. But holy hell, yeah. And thank you, Chick Flick Guru. I borrowed your phrasing a little bit for our social media announcement of that episode.
Mind control boob sweat is probably the best way to sum it up. And yeah, when the Farscape theme showed up in the episode, that was for me that was a really geeky moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very Avatar: The Last Airbender moment, and if you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about.
Or Buffy Prophecy Girl.
Yes. Yeah. So those are our comments from our listeners. So yeah, then great. Those are comments from our listeners.
Well, thanks, guys. I always appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah.
Dilly.
And if you have any thoughts on this episode, we're more punnage and just anything that the YouTube censors will let you write in the comments.
I took it pretty hard in this episode, so we'll see how it goes.
It's a good thing we're not monetized. We are instead supported by our viewers at Patreon, who we very much appreciate.
We're the PBS of podcasts.
Yes.
So, I am thinking that our next episode is going to be our annual Christmas watch along.
Yay!
We have to figure out a date for that. And I'm thinking we will do a Muppet Christmas thing. But what's the 1980s? A Very Muppet Christmas, I think that's called.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
But before that.
Oh yes, but before that, we'll actually come out. The Midsummer or the Much Ado reading will actually happen before this is released.
Josh, you in that one?
I am. I play a character whose name escapes me at the moment.
George C. Cole.
Thank you.
And I am Borocchio.
And I am Friar Francis. And I hopefully you will all have joined us in what will have been last week, I think.
Yes.
For that.
Forget when you put these episodes out.
But of course, you can still donate to Trans Lifeline, and the live will be there if you want to go watch it. No longer live. Our Shakespearean shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that future me or past me.
Past future?
I don't know. Timelines are weird. I'm sure that we all had a lot of fun doing it.
We will definitely have had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. But the next episode of the podcast proper, are you ready for the title of the next episode?
I really am, because the last 30 seconds of this episode tell me that we are finally going to get Moya and Pilot, and I'm looking forward to them. So tell me
We are.
Tell me the title.
Promises.
Okay.
Got any predictions apart from us meeting up with Pilot and Moya?
I'm probably going to cry.
Yeah, you might well cry that one.
Knowing Farscape, I'm probably going to cry.
Can I do a fake predictions?
Yes, please. Yes. Just do a fake prediction.
So it's actually a play on words. It's promises. They're gonna have a prom on Moya when they get back, and they're all gonna dance and put on their little outfits and have corsages and stuff.
This is why you're on this podcast with us.
Mm-hmm. I know. That to make terrible puns.
Exactly.
So that's why you lava me.
I think we're out of steam.
We're out of a lot of things, man.
I think this is a bit of a short one, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. Our completely unhinged chaos. Talking about an episode that is completely unhinged chaos. So
it was fitting.
So yes, join us for Promises. I'll find a guest. With that, Ren, thank you very much for joining us. Would you like to tell the folks where they can find you?
Yes, I am Ren the Barbarian. You can find me here on YouTube as Ren the Barbarian. I make videos about Star Trek and other pop culture stuff. You can also find me on Blue Sky, TikTok, Tumblr. I am no longer on Twitter. Thank God. I finally deleted my Twitter account. Instagram. Yeah, that's it. I'm all over the place. So come check me out.
And Josh?
Good stuff. You can find me wading chest deep in a pool of molten lava as I attempt to retrieve my amber encased amphibian friend who, don't worry, he can breathe. And Instagram at Josh Gosdin. Sara?
I have also left Twitter and deactivated my account on there. But you can still find me on YouTube at the Fat Culture Critic. And you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm posting more on Blue Sky. It is much more enjoyable than Twitter. And hopefully it will stay that way for a while at least, if people aren't too big assholes. But, people are people. So, yeah, come and find me there. The show's Twitter is still up for now, but really just for promoting episodes. And we also have a Blue Sky as well that you can follow us, and you can follow us on Patreon and support us to get fun watch-alongs. And we had watch-along Frightened Kicks, and we haven't really done any other nonsense, but we do at least have to have those watch-alongs, and we'll have another one for you soon, I think. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you for our Christmas show in 2 weeks, and then afterwards for Promises.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
So is this gonna be from now on? No more Starfield, just Muppet on Fire?
It's a rough time in America right now.
Fair enough.
Well said.
Besides, I've had an older version, or not older version, but I've previously had a background with Beaker in it, and it was the same. It was
very weird. It was just black void, and Beaker was just like there, always looking over your shoulder.
And it was the same that I've had for years.
That's what God looks like when you die. Like you just open your eyes and Beaker is standing over you.
I believe it.
Should we do the thing?
Let's do the thing.
Okay. Oh, we are recording, yes.
There's a recording.
Hi, friends.
And scene.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those episodes.
It really is.
Gotta be one of those episodes. I haven't. Okay, hang on. Oh boy.
You get the giggles out.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Let's do the thing.
Let's do the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, friends. We'll have good outtakes for this one.